Why do over 1 in 4 women claim Social Security by the age of 62? For many women, that answer is fear. Fear the Social Security system goes away. Fear they won't live long enough to collect full benefits. Fear they will run out of money. And a big one, fear of just making the wrong choice entirely. That fear might be leading you to the very mistake you're trying to avoid. You're facing one of the most important financial decisions in your lifetime. Everywhere you turn, you're getting different financial advice. Some so-called experts say delay Social Security for as long as you can. Others say take it early before it runs out. Your neighbor took hers at 62 and she seems fine, while your best friend is waiting until 70. The overwhelm is real and it's justified. This isn't a simple decision despite what you might hear. The choice you make could potentially affect your income for 30 years or more. And if you're feeling unprepared to navigate this on your own, you're absolutely not alone. Many women and families struggle with these decisions. These aren't decisions we make every day, and the stakes feel incredibly high because they are. Hi, if we haven't been introduced, my name is Marcus Griffin, and I'm a wealth advisor and founder of Narrowgate Wealth Management. And I'm on a mission to educate and empower women and their families to make financial decisions with clarity, care, and confidence. And here's what I want you to learn right now. The conventional wisdom about Social Security timing may cost you significant lifetime benefits depending on your situation. There's a clearer way to think through this decision. Most people focus only on one aspect of when to begin, break-even age, for instance. But that's just one piece of a much bigger picture. We're going to walk through a framework that may help take the guesswork out of making this choice. Not because it makes the decision easy, but because it may help you to approach it with more confidence. Let me share 3 realities about Social Security claiming that change how most people think about this decision. The first reality, the retirement timeline gap. Many women I talk to picture working into their mid-60s, often aiming for 65. The reality is different. Most people step out of the workforce earlier than expected around age 62, 3 years earlier than they planned. Why does this happen? Life intervenes? Health issues arise? Job circumstances change? Or caregiving responsibilities appear? Here's the striking part. A surprising number of 1 in 2 women believe they will work into their 70s or never retire, but 90% of women retire before the age of 70. The gap between intention and reality is crucial because it affects when you'll need to start drawing income from somewhere. If you're planning to delay Social Security until age 70, but find yourself retiring at 62, those 8 years need to be funded from somewhere. Now, the second reality, fear versus strategy. The most common reason people claim early is fear. Fear that Social Security won't be there, fear they won't live long enough to collect their benefits, fear of running out of money, and just fear of making any decision at all. Let's start by addressing the Social Security concern directly. There is no denying Social Security faces headwinds. Projections show that without changes, the program will be stretched thin within a decade. But this concern has existed for decades, and it has been resolved before. In 1979, that's 46 years ago, U.S. News and World Report asked on their cover, quote, Social Security, will it be there when you need it? In 1982, Time published an article stating that the trust fund would be nearly empty the next year. These prophecies of doom were great for selling magazines and ads, but they weren't accurate because the government took action. So does surviving the history of crisis headlines mean that we won't have issues the next few years? Absolutely not. There's no guarantees. But here's the critical point. Even in a worst-case scenario, the system doesn't just shut down. Payroll taxes would continue to support the majority of benefits. The bigger issue is when fear drives your decision instead of strategy. Fear-based claiming may lead to the exact financial insecurity you're trying to avoid. And next, the third reality. The hidden costs compound over time. Claiming at 62 means accepting significantly reduced benefits, about 70% of what you'd receive at full retirement age of 67. This isn't a temporary discount that goes away. That reduction carries forward through every cost of living increase. What I mean by that is Social Security provides yearly adjustments to help your benefits keep up with inflation. But these increases are calculated as a percentage of your current benefit. So if you're starting with a lower monthly amount due to early claiming, each annual increase gives you fewer additional dollars than someone who had waited for their full benefit. It also affects survivor benefits if you're married. When one spouse dies, the surviving spouse receives the higher of the two Social Security benefits, either their own or their deceased spouse's benefit. But here's the critical part. If the higher earning spouse claimed early and locked in a reduced benefit, that reduced amount becomes what is known as the survivor benefit. So if you're the higher earner and you claim at 62, you're not just reducing your own income for life, you're potentially reducing your spouse's income for the rest of their life after you're gone. And it also creates tax implications that many people don't see coming. Many people assume Social Security benefits aren't taxed, but depending on your other income sources, up to 85% of your Social Security benefit can be subject to federal income tax. When you start Social Security early, you're adding that taxable income on top of any withdrawals you're making from other retirement accounts or other income that you might have. This combination can push you into higher tax brackets than you expected. Additionally, if you have substantial income from all sources combined, it can trigger surcharges on your Medicare premiums starting at age 65, essentially a penalty that can cost you thousands of dollars annually for years to come. Over 20 to 30 years of retirement, this decision compounds in ways that isn't obvious at age 62, but may become clear past the break-even point. How have any of these realities changed how you're thinking about your own retirement timeline? Let's talk about how to actually evaluate this decision, beginning with a trade-off. When you claim early, for example, age 62, you receive smaller monthly payments, but you collect them for more years. When you delay, say to age 70, you get larger monthly payments, but collect them for fewer years. There's a specific month and year in the future where the total amount you'd receive would be roughly the same regardless of when you started your benefits. Advisors commonly refer to determining that point as break-even analysis. When you run the math, there's usually a point in your late 70s or early 80s where waiting to collect starts to pull ahead. Live longer than that point, and the larger monthly checks from delaying tend to add up to more over your lifetime. This calculation is a useful starting point, but it misses several critical factors. It doesn't account for the fact that dollars today are worth more than dollars in the future, which is referred to as the time value of money. It doesn't consider your other income sources or your tax situation. And it doesn't factor in what you could do with the money that you leave in your retirement accounts if you claim Social Security early. The last statement is reinforcing that if you don't take benefits early, but you stop working, you have to fund your expenses from somewhere. There's always a trade-off. Break-even analysis gives you one data point, but your decision should be based on your complete financial picture. Your Social Security decision should consider several factors simultaneously. Whether you're evaluating your own situation or helping guide decisions for your household, here's what matters. First, your health and longevity expectations. Family history, current health status, and lifestyle factors all play a role. Next, your other income sources and assets. If you have over $1 million in retirement and other savings, your flexibility is generally different than someone with limited savings. Next, your tax situation and planning opportunities. Social Security benefits can be taxed, and the timing of when you start them affects your overall tax strategy for years to come. And then finally, survivor benefit implications if you're married. The higher earner's claiming decision directly affects what the surviving spouse will receive for the rest of their life. Before making any claiming decision, ask yourself these 3 questions. First, am I considering claiming now because I need the cash or because I'm afraid of what might happen if I wait? Second, what tax planning opportunities am I preserving or giving up by claiming now or waiting? Third, if married, how does my and my spouse's decision affect our future when facing it alone? These questions can help cut through the noise and get to the heart of what actually matters for your situation. There are legitimate strategic reasons to claim early, and there are compelling reasons to delay. So let's walk through both approaches. The early claiming strategy, the protection approach. Early claiming makes strategic sense in several situations. If you have health concerns or reasons to believe your life expectancy might be shorter than average, getting benefits sooner becomes more valuable. If you have a large portfolio, say over $1 million in various accounts, claiming Social Security early may help preserve your investments. But this largely depends on market conditions and how your money is invested. Instead of withdrawing larger amounts from your retirement accounts in down market years, you have a guaranteed Social Security income as a buffer. If you're single or the lower earning spouse in a marriage, the survivor benefit considerations that make delaying valuable for higher earners don't apply to your situation. And if you have an immediate income need that can't be met efficiently through other sources, claiming early may be your best option. Whether you're newly managing finances on your own or have always been involved in these decisions, the key is that early claiming serves a specific purpose in your overall plan. The delaying strategy, the potential optimization approach. Delaying Social Security often makes sense when you're seeking to optimize for maximum lifetime income and financial flexibility. If you're in good health with strong longevity indicators, every year you delay increases your monthly benefit. From age 67 to 70, your benefit grows by about 8% of your full benefit amount each year. If you're the higher earner in a marriage, delaying your benefit can significantly increase what your spouse receives as a survivor benefit for the rest of their life. If you have sufficient assets to cover your expenses comfortably while letting Social Security grow, delaying gives you a guaranteed increase in your payout amount based on current laws. And if you have tax planning opportunities, which we'll touch on in a moment, delaying Social Security can help preserve valuable planning space. At this point, does claiming early or delaying sound more like your situation? Here's something you may not know and may surprise you. The Social Security Administration gives you a do-over. Seriously. If you start benefits and later change your mind, you can reverse that decision within your first year of receiving payments. It is referred to as a withdrawal, in that you're withdrawing your decision to take benefits. If you choose to withdraw from the benefits you received, you have exactly 12 months from your start date to reverse course. So what's the catch? You may only do this once in your life, and you must repay every penny you received, which includes taxes withheld and your Medicare premiums. This is a one-time opportunity, but it can be very valuable if circumstances change or if you realized you claimed too early. Let me mention 2 additional ways to coordinate different pieces of your retirement plan that may significantly increase the value of your Social Security decision. The details of each are beyond the overview we're going through, but here are the highlights. One approach involves timing your Social Security with something financial planners call the golden window for tax planning. This is the period after you retire, but before you start Social Security benefits, and before required distributions kick in from your retirement accounts. During these years, your taxable income is often much lower than it was during your working years. If so, this might create an opportunity to convert money from your traditional IRAs into your Roth IRAs at lower tax rates, potentially saving you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. There's also the matter of managing your tax brackets when you do start combining Social Security with withdrawals from your retirement accounts. Social Security benefits can be taxed, and the timing of when you start those benefits affects which tax bracket you'll be in for years to come. By coordinating when you start benefits with how much you withdraw from other accounts, you may be able to stay in lower tax brackets. This type of planning potentially can make a meaningful difference in how much of your money you actually get to keep. These coordinated approaches may add value, but they require analyzing your complete financial picture, not just your Social Security options in isolation. If you're interested in learning more about these strategies or have other questions, please let us know in the comments. Let me recap what we've covered because this decision could affect you for decades. The conventional wisdom about always delaying Social Security ignores the reality that most people retire earlier than planned and have different financial circumstances and goals. Fear-based claiming, Whether it's fear of the system failing or fear of not living long enough, often leads to decisions that creates the very financial insecurity you're trying to avoid. Break-even analysis is useful, but it's just one piece of a much larger puzzle that includes your health, your other assets, your tax situation, and your family circumstance, and more. The right strategy for you depends on your complete financial picture, and there are legitimate reasons both to claim early or delay, again, depending on your specific situation. So before you make this decision, work through these 5 questions. Am I making this decision based on strategy or on fear? What's my realistic retirement timeline and health outlook? Can my portfolio handle higher early withdrawals if I delay Social Security? What tax planning opportunities do I have in my early retirement years? And last, am I the higher earner? And how does my choice affect my spouse's future benefits? These questions will give you clarity about which approach serves your long-term financial security best. If you're looking for guidance and education regarding your complete personal retirement situation, please see the links in the description to schedule a free 30-minute discussion. Now, while I may not know you personally, my guess is that you're someone who likes to help others. As I said before, my mission is to educate and empower women and their loved ones to make financial decisions with clarity, care, and confidence. And you have the ability to help others who need this information without it costing you anything. If this video helped clarify your thinking around Social Security, please share it with someone else who may benefit. And also, if you'll give us a thumbs up and leave a comment about what you found helpful, it helps us reach other women who are facing similar decisions. And whether this affects you directly or someone you care about, remember that with the right information and approach, these decisions become much clearer. Not easier, they're still complex, but hopefully more solvable. I appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next video.